What's going on, Wayside 410 middle school students? I'm Ronald, and I miss you guys. I like a lot. Wish I could see your faces. But there's something else I wish I could say. I love you. I know that you guys are in that state, or maybe this is just me growing up, but like when you were dating somebody for the first, and it was a big deal, you were dating them, and maybe you've been dating them for like a while, and then one of you said these words. I'm never gonna get that right. These words right there. Said, I'm pointing that way. These words. I love you. Aw, those are really important words. They matter. When someone says them to you and you hear them, and they're not like your mom or your dad, but like a good friend or somebody you care about. When they say, I love you, it just means a lot. It makes a big deal. It steps up the relationship. I know when my friends and I were dating and we were younger, there was a big deal when you crossed that line, when you went from saying, you're pretty cool, I like you, let's go on a date, to I love you. It matters. But I'm going to talk about today are 3 other words that you can say to somebody that really show them that you care about them, they're important to you, and they matter to you. And it's continuing our series called Fresh, where today we're going to look at something else. But hey, why is new life much harder than just letting things be? So last week we talked about the old life, letting things die, all right? We talked about how I can let things die pretty easily, like pets. No, not pets. Plants. That's what I meant to say. Plants. I let plants die pretty easily. I'm not very good at plants. The idea is that new life, growing something new, is a lot harder than just kind of doing nothing. If you do nothing, well, nothing happens. But working at cultivating new life, that takes work. And that's what we're going to look at today in our lesson, Put On. And we're going to be looking at Colossians 3:11 through 13. Let's get into it. Colossians 3:11. In Christ, there is not Greek and Jew, circumcision and uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, slave, and free. But Christ is all and in all. What do you think when you hear the word colorblind? Maybe think about those advertisements where you see the people putting on the glasses, and for the first time they can see colors. Most of the time that's like an emotional thing, right? When they get to see colors for the very first time. Or maybe you think about race and race relations. When people say, I'm colorblind, I don't see color. In our cul-de-sac, we're actually the only white family. the only other family in our cul-de-sac, we're the only family in our cul-de-sac that's Caucasian. Everybody else is either Latino or black. And we're not colorblind because we see them. We know that the family next to us is African American. We know that the family next to us is Latino. Hey, their skin looks different than ours. And the other day, my neighbor and I had about a 2-hour conversation about race, and it was really, really good. And I don't think we could have had that relationship or that conversation if we had said, you know what, I'm going to ignore the fact that you're black. And he was saying, I'm going to ignore the fact that you're white. Because in reality, the fact that he's black and I'm white plays a lot into our relationship. And look at this. This verse says that it seems like there are none of those things. In Christ, there's not Greek and Jew, circumcision, uncircumcision, barbarian and Scythian, slave and free, but Christ is all and in all. Some Christians might want to say, we're all this in Christ. It doesn't take away your culture. It doesn't take away your skin tone. That stays the same, right? In fact, you need to be pretty aware of your skin tone so that you can know and understand if somebody's treating you differently because of what you look like. And know and be aware if somebody's treating somebody else differently by what they look like. So you can step in and be an advocate in that situation. But what this verse is telling us is all of those things that might make us different in society, whether you're a Scythian or barbarian, slave or free, the reality is you all have a level playing field when it comes to Jesus, because we're all the same in his eyes, and that's important. It matters. Continuing on, Colossians 3:12. Therefore, since that is true, since you're all the same in Jesus, as God's chosen ones, everybody, holy and dearly loved, put on compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. That's our job. It's what we're supposed to do as God's chosen ones. Bearing with one another and forgiving one another if anyone has a grievance against one another. Which of those things is the hardest for you to do? Is it hard for you to put on compassion? Is it hard for you to put on kindness? Depending on what your family's been up to during the last couple months, it might be really, really hard to show compassion to the people you've been stuck in a house with for the last 3 months. It might be really difficult because they're getting on every single one of your last nerves. In fact, you have no more nerves left because of them, right? So maybe it's really hard to put on compassion right now. But we're told, since we have Jesus, since Jesus has changed us, we are dead to our sin, we are new in Christ, therefore put on love. Therefore change. Be this new creation. Now check this out. Colossians 3:13, just as the Lord has forgiven you, so you are also to forgive. At what point should we stop forgiving others? At what point should we stop saying, you know what, you have used up all of the grace that I've got for you, we're done here. Peter had that same kind of question to Jesus. He said, should I forgive my brother 7 times? And Jesus said, no, 70 times 7. And if you can keep track of 70 times 7 of how many times you forgive somebody, you are pretty petty. The idea is we're not supposed to stop forgiving because Jesus doesn't stop forgiving us. When we mess up, when we fail, when we sin, Jesus continues to forgive us. He continues to give us grace. Even though we might feel like we don't deserve it, He gives it to us. And that's the same that it should be with us and other people. We should always give other people grace. We should always forgive other people. So forgive others, even if it hurts. You know those 3 words I was saying that is a big deal with your relationships? I love you matters. And those are 3 huge words, but so are I forgive you. Those 3 words mean a lot in any relationship. Forgive others, even if it hurts. Even if it doesn't seem like it benefits you, forgive them. Because the reality is, think of someone you're holding a grudge against. Think of somebody like right now who you're mad at, or who did something wrong to you, or who treated you poorly. Think about them in your head. Get a picture of them in your mind. And maybe even kind of get mad at them a little bit because, honestly, when you picture them, you get mad at them. Think about, why are you holding on to that grudge? Why are you still mad at that person? Why are you still not forgiving that person? And then think about, who are you hurting more by not forgiving them? Who is hurting more right now? Do you think they are more hurt by you not forgiving them? Or do you think you are more hurt by the grudge and the anger and all the stuff that you are holding and you're just mad at them? More than likely than not, you are hurting yourself more than you're hurting them by not forgiving them. Forgive others even if it hurts. So forgive them. Move on and grow. Now, just as a side note, just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean the relationship has to go back to the exact same way it was before. Trust is a thing, right? Love is a thing. Being able to decide if you can hang out with this person and spend time with them is a thing. But to say, I forgive you, I'm not going to hold that grudge against you anymore. I'm going to let it go and I'm going to move on. Matters. It will change how you approach that person maybe in the future, and it'll change how you think about you and yourself right now. So think about who that person might be, who you're holding that grudge against, and think about, pray about, ask God to say, hey, help me put on love and compassion so that I can forgive this person, so that I can move on and grow. It's a huge thing that will change your life. I promise you. It will make you fresh. Hey, students, I'm looking forward to the time we can hang out together. I miss your faces. I miss you so much. But For right now, I'm just going to say we will see you later. Bye.